Hey everybody, I'm with Jenna here,
Hi.
and we want to show you guys how to follow the new policy as far as contract submission and commission approval. So we're going to move really quick. There are three forms you need to look at today. You need to look at the contract submission process, commission approval process, and the actual commission authorization request form. Boy, that's a mouthful. Now, in order to find these, I'm going to show you real quick. You just go to templates. At the very top, you see commission approval policy. All three of these documents are in there now. Okay, so let's go through this really fast. Everything begins with obviously submitting your contract. Okay, the policy that we had in the past is still in effect, but there's a couple changes, such as you no longer need to submit if you have a listing. It's just what we're looking for is for you to submit for approval 3 business days after closing. After pending, after going under contract, your receipted contract from title. Okay, that's what we're looking for. That's the big thing. Once we receive that, Joe's going to review and tell, just like before, tell you what other information that we need in order to have approval. It's no longer going to be approval for commission, it's just going to be normal approval. And I'll explain what I mean by that in a second. Now, one other thing too to note is we are now charging a fee if you do not follow company policy. It's $45 if you don't submit your paperwork in a timely manner. And if it's not your fault, if you have a reason that's legitimate why you could not submit your received contract in a timely manner, then just let me know and I'm going to trust you, okay? It could be that the other agent didn't give it to you or title took a while to get it back to you. That's fine. Our goal is not to be going after you guys for something that's not your fault. But if you submit your entire paperwork the day before closing, and by the way, we can see when things have been submitted on the back end, there's an activity log. That's not fair to staff. It's just not. So you're going to submit. You're going to go back and forth with Joe. He'll give you approval when all the documents are in there. And then we're going to be moving on to the next document, which is the commission approval process. All of you need to review this. You need to look through here on how you submit things, what to submit, and this should give you a pretty good outline. Read it, please. Okay? Now, here's the next policy we need to look at. So once you get approval from Joe, there is no more Blanco control record at all. It's been mixed with the DA request form, and that is now our policy to fund it title every single time. So, Jenna, what does that do for us as a company?
That makes it to where Imelda doesn't have as much time cutting checks. It makes it to where we're just able to do the whole process smoother and get you paid faster. So that should be a win-win. Pretty much it. It's just
What
good for
about
all of
mixing
us.
the control record with the DA request form? How does
It
that help
obviously
us?
takes out one of the forms, which is the control record. I know a lot of you loved that form, but I'm sorry it's gone now. So I mixed the two, I blended the two into one, and it's basically the DA form that you guys already knew of, but maybe
It's
4
beefed up
fields
a little
added
bit.
to it. And that's it.
Yeah, it cuts out redundancy. It cuts a significant amount of work out from our end on the back end. We're literally saving probably an hour, hour and a half a day, I would say, on this overall of work, which, I mean, on a yearly basis is incredible savings. At the same time, too, it's cutting out the redundant work of filling out both forms, guys. Okay, so this is the commission approval process. This is a totally new form for you to look at. You all need to see this. Commission authorization forms included in a dot loop. We're going to look at that. You need to submit this at least 5 business days before closing. Our policy is to have all funds dispersed at title if possible. Okay, once you submit the commission authorization form, it's just like the DA process. You're going to submit it to accounting, and they're going to review it, and they're going to send it to title. Okay, another DA request form so you can get paid as quickly as possible at title. If you follow company policy and there are circumstances that prevented funding at title, you need to consult with me, guys. If you fail to consult with management, you run the risk of a company policy violation and a fee being attributed to the transaction at closing. $45. Yes. Okay. My note, remember, I can actually see when things are submitted. You too can see by looking under the activity log in your loop. Remember, you must submit your loop within 3 business days after the execution date of the contract. Remember that. That's what we're looking for. You go under contract, you submit for review with the receipted contract, go back and forth with Joe. Once you have the approval, then you submit this form. Let's go take a look, okay? This is, and slash was, the Blanco control record mixed with the DA request form, okay? Now, this form itself is pretty straightforward. And again, just to reiterate, you only fill out this out after Joe approves your loop on .loop, just like the normal process. Once you have approval, then you fill this out and you submit it to accounting. Now, who's looking over this now, Jenna, when it goes to accounting?
The accounting email address can be checked by myself or Aaron, and once we receive a DA request, we're going to send you a confirmation back so that you know we're working on it, so you won't have to wonder.
Good. So in other words, guys, if you send an email, a DA, the commission authorization request form to accounting, you're going to get a reply for that email. Our goal is to reply to every single email so that you know that we're working on this and it will be submitted to title in a timely manner. Okay. Now, in this form right here, what information does not need to be filled out?
The one that's underlined right by the mouse right there, that does not need to be filled out if it is not a referral. It's pretty self-explanatory.
Well, you just check no if there's not.
You would put no, and then you wouldn't do anything else. And on the very, very, very bottom, there's something that's for myself or Aaron to fill in, so you don't do that, and it's clear there as well. Also, you don't necessarily have to put the escrow agent's assistant name and email, as long as we should be able to contact the actual escrow agent.
If your main point of contact is the actual escrow agent, obviously we're not going to need that. But why this is important is because we need someone to contact at title that will respond to us and is able to accept a DA, a disbursement authorization request. In other words, what gets you paid at closing. We have to do a special letter to title authorizing them to pay you your commission at closing. So in other words, we need to actually have a valid way for contacting someone at title. Okay, so again, just to review, very simple. You go under contract. You get your receipted contract from title. You submit the folder just like normal to the company. You're going to go back and forth making sure everything's correct, and you need to do it as quickly as possible. And once you have that, then you have up to 5 days before closing to submit the commission authorization request form to us. Okay, so once you have that approval, go ahead, fill this out, submit it to the company, to accounting, email this form to accounting@bhhsdonjohnson.com, and then we're going to send that DA request form directly to title. It's that simple. So get approval, fill this out, send this to accounting just like the other normal DA request form, send it to accounting@bhhsdonjohnson.com, and then you should be good. If anyone has any questions on this at all, the process, how this works, who could they talk to, Jenna?
They could talk to you, myself, Mary Ellis, and...
Really, I think that's a good group.
Yeah, that's
talk
pretty
to us.
good.
Okay, guys, have any questions, talk with us. This goes live March 1st, 2019. Okay, just letting you know, this goes live March 1st, 2019. Thank you.